Welcome to Chapter 20 and 20x of my Fire Emblem 6 Low Tone Count playthrough. Chapter 20 is a rather small castle map with the difficulty that you have to deal with Fog of War, and we don't really have any thieves anymore. Not really a problem though, since we still have a torch. This map is once again going to be trivialized by the warp staff to clear it quick. We have to be careful with the two stages in the middle that would otherwise defeat our weakest units, like Ludum with their high magic bolting tomes. Lastly, in order to get the true ending, we need to wait for Diane to show up at the beginning of turn 3 so we can recruit him, so we are stuck with a 3-turn clear at best. This means that we can take our time, though, and even reach the treasure room on the left with the most important item of all, the Guiding Ring, since, well, we don't have any currently to promote Lilina. So since we have time to clear this map, we can easily go for the same clear as Chapter 16, which is Boss Killer 5 transported by Roy. And we will actually not work with Sol as usual, but with one of the best units of the game that joined at the start of the map, Nime. Nime isn't a good unit to fight as she just doesn't have any kind of durability and only 16 speed. But that's not what is important about her. She starts with A-rank staff and 21 magic, which makes an excellent warper right from the bat. So now thanks to her, we have more leniency with staff utility. Something interesting as well that we won't get to see here is that she starts with A-rank dark magic, which makes her really close to hitting S rank and thus use the Apocalypse Stone. The reason Apocalypse is so good is that when equipped, the unit gains plus 5 magic, which effectively also increases staff range, giving Nime an incredible staff range. So while Nime takes care of warping Roy, Lilina is going to keep on farming as per usual on the few enemies in the castle entrance, and gets a perfect level up, which was 620 RNs away. Everyone else in the team is then going towards the treasure room. The big problem with getting there is that the road is blocked by small corridors, and we have to open 3 doors and kill 3 enemies directly blocking the way. So on this turn we will deal with the first fighter, with a 6% longbow crit by Sue. Once that's done, Shanna, who has higher movement, will be able to both rescue her and open the door thanks to Ludum, and should be able to clear the room for next turn. This and Percival will also take drop Ludum forward. Sol will also get to use the Silent Staff on one of the bolting mage to make the following enemy phase more consistent. He does get a level up from that, but at this point his level ups, just like Shanna, don't really matter. This first enemy phase is quite scary, as Roy, who is transporting Fa, is at a good risk of death. First off, he needs to get a crit on the knight that attacks him in order to properly manipulate AI movement. If it doesn't, and also gets hit, then he would be at 2 uses left on the killing edge, and the enemies would block the way to the throne, on top of using lances over javelin, which are more accurate and thus more deadly. And even then, between both sages left and both knights, he still is at the risk of death if everything hits. The other scary part of this enemy phase is obviously Ludum, who can easily die to the last bolting stage as well as a fighter, so it's only a 27% displayed hit for him. Lastly, Douglas dodges the Berserk Staff, but I'm pretty sure that it isn't required for him to dodge it. I just got lucky on the first attempt that managed to get everything I needed. On turn 2, we need to free up the space towards the treasure room, and blocking our way right now is a weakened Swordmaster and the door. This will take care of the first one, while Milady will deal with the second one. Lilina gets yet another perfect level up by killing the fighter who attacked Ludum. Even if her magic is maxed out just now, she still needs a few more speed points in order to reach the required benchmarks for her. The second door will be opened by Milady, who will be placed just in range to reach the very last door next turn. That way, Shanna will be able to drop Sue and will make sure to position everyone so that the door will be available for Milady on next turn, which includes preventing the warrior from getting near it. Sol will put to sleep the last stage, and then Percival will take him so he can be dropped near the treasure room to get the treasures the next turn, as well as finishing blocking the warrior's way. Our team commander of Percival, Shanna, Sue and Sol will now be able to storm through the treasure room next turn and get as many items as possible. We had to wait for Nime to heal Roy with her physics staff at the end of his turn to drop FUD next to the boss, as it needs to be full HP for the strat to work. This time around, not much can happen on this second enemy phase. The only thing we have to take care of is that Fan needs to dodge one hit and then hit a 10% critical on the boss. Roy can't die, nor can Solo, so all is well. On the final turn, we get to recruit Diane with Shen. Diane's stats, just like Nime, are pretty low, with only 14 strength and 16 speed. He has decent durability with 43 HP and 10 defense, but it doesn't really shine there either. At least that makes him a solid mounted prepper mode to transport units. What makes Diane shine compared to most of our promoted mounted units, however, is that he has C-rank sword and A-rank bow, which means he can wield Killing Edge with ease and thus still be a competent character, as well as reach S-rank bow for endgame if needed, where he would do just as well as everyone else. Diane will help out ship the last War Master so that Lina gets one last kill, and then it's time to close the treasure room. We get a Draco Shield, a blue gem, an Axe River, and most importantly, the guiding rune for Lilina. Fa gets yet again another 10% critical on the boss, which kills it, allowing Roy to seize, finishing the map in 3 turns. And since Yu and Shin survived, and we recruited Diane, we can move on to Chapter 20X. Chapter 20X gimmick is that there is 6 bosses, 3 nomads and 3 druids, and 6 runes to seize, but only one is correct. Seizing the wrong throne will bring reinforcements, which becomes a problem when the 3 druid bosses are able to silence, berserk, and sleep. The correct turn is actually determined using a secondary RNG similarly to the desert map when the preps are done. We want the top right one to be the correct one, since we can reach it in 1 turn even without the warp staff. In order to do that, we need to soft reset after the preps, start the chapter really fast as the title screen burns the RNG used for this manip, and opens the train menu between 2 characters. If you were fast enough when leaving the title screen, it should always result in the top right turn being the correct one. Something that's not often talked about with Nomad is that they can actually cross rivers, and we'll use that here so that you can transport Roy towards the boss. However, sadly, if we want to save a turn, we have to sacrifice that Nomad that just did that so that Roy can seize in the same turn, so this is goodbye, Sue. It's so good. I never liked Sue anyways, so now that she isn't recorded anymore, we can't get rid of her. Anyway, Shanna is also just in range of the boss for the finishing blow as well. Before we finish the map, Milady will get a free extra level up thanks to a Killer Lance crit, which will make the manip for chapter 21 easier to pull off. Lina also gets 1 extra kill and 1 extra speed level up before promoting. Nime will then get to use our last hammer news on the warp staff, and with that, preparations are complete for the most intense and interesting chapter of the game, which will truly change our strategies for what is left to do in this game. Roy can now seize, finishing the chapter in 1 turn. See you next time for chapter 21.